Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing wonderful today. I want to take a minute and look at our assignment for health class. And I'm just right now on the health page or channel in our Teams group. And I'm going to read you the instructions and kind of explain a little bit, because I know there's been a lot of questions around what exactly is the format that we're supposed to be writing in, and who am I supposed to interview, and what if we don't have family recipes? It's all good. I'm going to help you. So here's what it says. Create a class cookbook is a nice way to celebrate family traditions and food diversity in our classroom. A cookbook can also be a class keepsake for us and would make a nice gift for family members. So you need to write down your favorite recipe for the cookbook. We will combine the recipes to create a class cookbook. Everyone will get a copy. So my goal is that everyone's going to have a recipe, and we will combine it together, and hopefully I can make everybody a copy of it. Your job is to interview a family member. Now, if you don't have any family traditions where food is involved, then you can research online a new recipe that you think you would like, try it out at home, and make a new family tradition. To get more detail about the recipe, ask questions. So you can even ask these to yourself as you are cooking and as you are trying the different foods that are in the recipe. Now, I'm going to read the questions for you. When was the first time you tried this recipe? If you're trying it for the first time now, you're just going to say something like, my teacher has asked us to make a cookbook and I wanted to start a new family tradition. So I've decided this was the recipe I wanted to try, so it's my first time tasting it. Does the recipe trigger a memory or a special person or event? It still can do this for you. So if you're eating something and it could make you think of, if I had cinnamon, for example, I would think of the Fredericton Market, because I usually get cinnamon toasted almonds. So that would make me think of the Fredericton Market. So it doesn't have to necessarily the whole recipe, but maybe something in the recipe triggers a memory. Did someone teach you how to make this recipe? You can even say that a parent is helping you currently, or no, you have learned yourself. Do you know where the recipe originally came from? Well, if you want to do some research and digging, if you're finding a new recipe, then that's fine. If you want to say, this is the resource I got it from, that is fine too. Or you can say, it was passed down from my grandmother, and why did she do it, or how did she teach the other person who then taught you, whatever you would like to say. Now, before I move on too far, and before I forget this thought, I want you to write each of these questions in like a paragraph format. So one paragraph should flow into the next paragraph, should flow into the next paragraph, and not be real choppy. I got one submission already, actually a couple weeks ago, or I guess it was last week, and it was beautiful. It had a little introductory paragraph where it explained I like to cook with my grandmother and all the things around the grandmother, and then it went into the actual recipe and all those different things, but everything flowed well. It wasn't like a choppy question, answer. And that's what I really want to see before we actually get to the recipe. Do you know where the recipe originally came from? So that's the last question I just read. What do you like about eating it? So taste, texture, smell. I want you to think of those 5 senses and what makes you like it. What is your favorite ingredient in this recipe? So we're going to look at this recipe, and this one comes from my aunt. At the top here, you will see all of the different ingredients and the amounts. Underneath, you're going to see cooking instructions. This is how I want yours to look. At the top, we have the name, blueberry cake. Now, everybody in my family loves my aunt's blueberry cake. It is amazing. And this is a gift that she actually gave me for my wedding. She gave me a bunch of baking pans and things to bake with, and then recipes attached to each item. And it's the best gift ever, because now I can start making it, and eventually I'll make it for my kids, and it will become my family tradition. So we need 2/3 cup margarine, 1 3/4 cup sugar, 2 eggs, 1.5 teaspoons vanilla, 1.5 teaspoons baking powder, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 1/4 cup milk, 2 3/4 cup flour. And then it explains exactly how I'm going to cook that, what type of pan is best for that. And just by accident, I have this lovely cookbook here, and it's called the 9x13, the pan that can. And this blueberry cake recipe calls for a 9x13 pan. That was pretty cool. I did not mean to do that. But I just wanted to show you what a cookbook could look like. And this one here has some pictures. So this is a section within the cookbook, and it has a little description here. The aromas of cinnamon and brown sugar signal something special is baking for breakfast, and you're making it. From French toast to old-fashioned cinnamon rolls with additions like blueberries and apples, pecans and cream cheese, this chapter is loaded with delicious from the oven options that make mornings special. I really like that. And you could even say very descriptively what it was like and what it smelled like when you were baking your recipe. So if I open this up, here we have a ricotta coffee cake. That sounds pretty good to me. It tells you the prep is 25 minutes, bake is 35 minutes. Oven, we need to preheat that to 350 Fahrenheit. So those are things that you're going to want to remember, possibly when you are writing down your recipe. Now, notice the cooking instructions are here 1, 2, 3. You don't have to write them in 1, 2, 3 order, but it always helps and keeps your cooking instructions very organized. Over here, that's the ingredients. So it looks very similar to the recipe that I showed you. Now I want you to try your best. If you have any other questions, email me, post it on Teams, and good luck.